Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I will explain and present the topic regarding job costing. So, because this cost estimation and analysis course is also part of a team teaching, a parallel teaching but a regular class. Therefore, we have this agreement that try to somehow make it similar between each other as much as possible between the IB and also the regular. Therefore, I already mentioned to you before, there will be some slight changes like this one. So we change this and the previous one regarding repair, and we will put them into the other topic. Also with this one, so the topic regarding the factory overhead cost will be included in the job costing itself instead. So this is the new one. Therefore, for the 6th and the 7th lecture of this, we will talk about job costing today, and then the next video we will talk about the process costing. Okay, now in the previous meeting that we had, I already mentioned you about the cost flow in manufacturing. As you can see here, in a manufacturing there are several steps that needed to be done when we manufacture or we do the productions for the goods. And as you can see here, there is an important thing that we can see, that there are material use, the cost of material use, and then we also need labor and we need to overhead to create the goods. So this is all has cost. So if you can see here, so if we want to create the cost of, we want to know the cost of the good manufactured, there are several things that we need to calculate before. So we need first to know the material cost, okay, and then so that we know at the end how many material that is used in the productions, okay, and then we also know, we put the direct labor cost in here and also the factory overhead. So we already learned that the overhead cost is all of the indirect costs aside of the direct material, raw material, and also direct labor. All of them are included in factory overhead. And in here we will know the adding all of these things, we will know the manufacturing cost, and then by adding the balance of work in process inventory in the beginning and also the end, we will know the cost of good manufacturing. So however, so how to know about the cost of now what is important is to know how we can get the manufacturing cost. As you can see here, there are two ways of knowing the manufacturing cost, or sometimes we call it also production cost, because this is more because we not only use this in a manufacturer, but sometimes we also use them in a service one or other conditions. So sometimes we also use it as we call it as a production cost instead of manufacturing cost. So it doesn't matter. But if you know that if it is assumed that the beginning balance of work in process inventory is the same as ending balance for work in inventory, then manufacturing cost will be the same as cost of good manufactured. This is often due to the large balance of work in process is difficult to identify. Yes, because the production process is really big and then many things happen in there, and it is hard to calculate. Then usually the beginning and the end work in process is the same, therefore the sum is 0. So we, in this case, then usually some books, some reference will call the cost of good manufacturing is also the similar with the manufacturing cost. So in here there is no inventory, pay attention that if there is no inventory involved, then usually the manufacturing cost and also is the same as the cost of a good manufacturing. In here you see, if there is no this one or this one is the same beginning and the end, then manufacturing cost will be the same as a cost of a good manufacturing. Okay, so there are two ways to calculate the manufacturing cost. As you can see here, the full costing approach. Here we summed all of the direct raw material cost, direct labor cost, and all of the overhead, including the fixed and variable costs. We already learned how to separate between this fixed and variable cost, but all of them are included. If all of them are included, then this is called full costing approach. But there is also another way where we only include the variable factory overhead cost, and this is called variable costing approach. So that is only the difference. Okay, now we want to know, now we already know this is, so what is costing then? Costing is the process of accumulating, classifying, and assigning direct material, yeah, we already know, direct labor, and factory overhead cost to product, service, or projects. Now we know the cost of direct material, direct labor, and factory overhead cost, and this is all of a manufacturing cost or cost of a good manufacturing. But now we want to accumulate or assign them to the product, service, or projects. So the cost accumulation method that we can use is, there are two. First, job costing or process costing. So the process of costing, this costing system, there are two that we can use, job costing and process costing. For the job costing, the topic that we will discuss today is that job costing is a costing system that accumulates costs and assign them to specific job, customer, project, or contract. Pay attention here, it is a specific job, customer, project, or contract. Type of company that use job costing include those in construction, printing, special equipment manufacturing, shipbuilding, custom furniture manufacturing, professional services, medical service, etc. As you can see here, every client is unique in this type of a company. So basically our production is tailored to a specific customer. So what this mean? What does this mean? It means that, as you can see here, it means that there is, yeah, because it is specific, we only make for that specific customer. So it will not the same, there will be no same products made, right? So it means there is no inventory. That is the idea. So we made only by order. As you can see here, this is the example of a job cost sheet. So in here, this job cost sheet, there will be a information regarding the direct material, direct labor, and factory overhead, basically like this. So we put them together in a job cost sheet. As you know that in the product manufacturing cycle, this is the cycle of a product manufacturing. We first we took the raw material, we purchased the raw material and stored them, and then process those raw material into a finished material, and then keep them in the storage. This is the usually the normal product manufacturing circle. But in this, and for that, the accounting circle will be knowing the cost of raw material purchase, and then knowing the cost of raw material being used, and also adding other costs like labor cost and factory overhead. We accumulate those production costs or manufacturing costs we mentioned before, and then we can determine the cost of the finished product. But this is the normal cycle. However, remember, in a job costing, we made products, or we made service, we produce service for specific customer. It's tailored for specific customer by order. So in the job order costing method, using the full costing one, it means full costing means that all of the factory overhead costs will be included. In this job order costing GOC method, production costs are accumulated for particular order and the cost of good manufacturing per unit is calculated using the formula. COGM is total production cost per order per total unit per order. As you can see, why is that COGM is the same of production cost order? Because there is no inventory, because this is made production costs are accumulated for a particular order. This is for particular order, so we don't keep inventory. Okay, so the characteristic of a production company's pay order is that production for the purpose of fulfilling orders, the product processing process is carried out intermittently, so it's not a continuous one. So we only made in according to the order, just sometime we made something and then sometime don't, so it is not a continuous one. Products are produced according to specification determined by the customer, so it's really specific. Okay, and the characteristic of the job order costing method is that in each type of product we calculate the COGM individually, the cost of good manufacturing individually, and then the production cost we separate the direct and indirect. For the production cost, yes, the indirect one will be the direct one will be raw material and direct labor. The indirect one will be the factory overhead. And then in here, the direct production cost, we can use actual cost. Actually, because it is easy to trace, we can use actual cost. However, for the factory overhead cost, we only use the estimated one or predetermined one, because it is really hard to know the factory overhead cost. So basically factory overhead cost, because we mix all of the indirect thing, sometimes we don't know it was really hard to allocate those kind of thing. So basically we only use estimated one, but for the direct one we can use the actual cost in here. Okay, and the job order cost per unit is calculated when the order is completed, so after the order completed. So this is the characteristic. Now let's see the benefit of a COGM per order, the information regarding COGM per order. So using this information, we actually can determine the selling price of the product. We can consider accepting or rejecting order. We can monitor the realization of production costs. You know, we already have planned them in before, so we can monitor the realization based on the plan that we already made. And then we can calculate the profit of loss of each order and determine the cost of work in process listed on the balance sheet. Okay, however, usually as we mentioned before, usually sometimes because it is hard to calculate the work in process, sometimes it is the same, and also because this is a job by order, normally we don't want to have any leftover in our production, so basically usually it's 0. Okay, next, this is how we determine the selling price charged to the customer. What we need is the estimated production cost of an order or manufacturing cost of an order, and then we need to know the non-production cost, and then we can know the total job order cost based on this thing. And we also know if we add the expected profit that we want to make, we can know the estimated price that we can sell to the customer. This is basically like that. So this expected profit, you can producer can decide by themselves, or they can just negotiate with the customer. However, as long as both of them accept, as long as the producer accept, then it's fine. Okay, the expected profit. This is to determine the selling price. And then to plan the product. When we plan the production cost, remember, although we can use the actual cost later on, but for the planning part we use all of them we use estimated one. So we estimate the cost of raw material, the direct labor cost, and use estimate factory overhead cost, and then we can know the estimated production cost. An example of company that use information using this one is a construction company. Yes, because in a construction company we build a building like that and we finish it, and then we don't want any leftover. Okay, this is the planned one. And then we can also consider or accept or rejection of order. Later on we will try to use a case study to learn all of these things, but for now I will show you the template for this. Okay, order production cost, you already know about this. So this is the production cost, as cost of material, direct labor cost, factory overhead cost. This is the estimated production cost. And then if we add the non-production cost, the administration cost, the marketing cost, or other one, we can know usually the non-production cost is the administration and marketing cost. So we can know the number of the non-production cost, and then using this we can know the estimated job order cost. This is the total one. Later on we will need to compare them. Okay, like I mentioned before, to monitor the realization, we compare between the actual raw material cost and actual labor cost with the estimated one. This one we always use estimated one because this is hard to know, and this is the real total production cost. Factory overhead cost is according to the rate determined in advance, because the cost of new order can be calculated when the order is completed. So not all factory overhead costs can be calculated at the time. The estimation, the rate that we can use is usually follow either using the labor hours or the machine hours. Usually we use that to somehow determine the rate on how we split the factory overhead costs. Okay, and then next, for calculating the gross profit or loss, we know in the beginning how to charge the customer. Yeah, if we already decide on the profit, if we already mentioned the expected profit and at the end it works as planned, then we definitely will sure that there will be a profit. However, we remember that in the actual it might be different. The actual might be different with the estimation. So sometimes we need to also check whether we actually got a profit or not. So basically, by using the price chart to the customer and all of the production costs, and then when we subtract the production cost from the price chart, and then we can know whether it is profit or not. And then we can also know the cost of inventory work in process in balance sheet. You know that we have this direct material, direct labor, direct overhead, and if we have the COGM and we have the beginning balance, we can know the ending balance. However, for the order one, usually it is all the same. Yeah, assume we don't want to have any leftover. Okay, now let's try to implement all of those things using this problem example. So in here, I hope it can be better, you can better understand what it is, what we talk about using this problem example. As you can see here, in November 2019, company A received an order for printing invitation totaling 1,500 pieces from company B. The price charged to the customer was 3,000 rupiah per piece. In the same month, company A also received an order for printing advertising pamphlets totaling 2,000 pieces from company C. Okay, different company. This is the different number. The price charged to the customer was 1000 EDR per piece. Order for company A are given code number 101 and order for company B are given code 102. So there are two type of order, two different order and different type of product. So but the company work on it together. These are additional information that we need to have. This is the information regarding the raw material and the auxiliary material or supporting material needed to produce the order, the invitation one, to make the invitation. So as you can see, there are type of paper, different type of paper and different type of ink. This will become the direct material cost, and there are auxiliary material, additional one. This is become the indirect material cost. Okay, this is the total. Solution: use of raw material in production. So for order 101, we use paper type X and ink type B. So this is all of the direct material, we use them all. Okay, this is the total cost, and this is the total cost for 102. So this is from the direct material cost. The total amount is like this. And for the auxiliary material, the total is 300,000. We don't use all of them, so like this. And then for the labor wage, yeah, because this is a direct cost, we use wage. We pay them according to their production level, so we use wage. So this direct labor wage, some wage we calculate them using the hours, the work hours, and here they have different work hours, and this is the information. There are also indirect labor wage. So this is not by an hour, so this is all calculated as a 3 million, and this is the total. There are also another employee salary, so administrative and general employee salaries, marketing employee salaries. Because this is a salary, we know that this is an indirect cost. So this is this is not a non-production cost, because this is not related to the production. This is related to the selling, and this one, and this is for the back office. So this is not related to, this is a non-production cost. But the total labor cost will be like this. Okay, so the solution, so then from those information we try to calculate the factory overhead cost. We know that factory overhead cost consists of the direct labor cost and also the factory overhead cost is all of the indirect cost. It can be indirect labor cost, it can be the indirect material cost, supporting auxiliary material cost. So we know the data, this is the total factory overhead cost. So if the actual factory overhead cost if there is only this costs, then this is the factory overhead cost. However, if the actual factory overhead cost other than cost added, if there are other costs added here, then the factory overhead cost can be like this. So if we have insurance, we have depreciation, we have machine depreciation, building maintenance cost, machine maintenance cost, this is all can also be included into factory overhead cost. So this is the type of factory overhead cost, like that. Okay, this is the total. So if we use, like, let's say we use all of them, then this is the factory overhead cost that we will use. Now, how we split this factory overhead cost to those two different order? We can use if the overhead is charged to product at the rate based on labor cost, then we can use like this. How? So how do we know the rate of this thing? Because we use, as I mentioned before, commonly we use the labor hour or the machine hour to determine the rate of the factory overhead cost. In this case, we use the labor hour, the labor cost. So we use the hours. As for 101 case is 225 divided by the total of hour time 100%, then we have this number 15.25%, or we can just sum them up. Actually it doesn't really, I don't think it's really matter, but let's say this is for precise, for the accurate example, let's use the exact percentage. That's it. So in here, as you can see here, from the total overhead cost, we can know that order 1 this use this number of overhead cost, and order 102 use this number of overhead cost. And here we can know the cost of the finished product order. So for 101, direct material cost will be here, direct labor cost will be 900,000, and the factory overhead cost will be like this. We get it from here. Okay, this is the total cost of good manufacturing, or the manufacturing cost, yeah, because we don't expect to have inventory. And then here the cost of COGM for 102, it will be like this. Now if we try to put them into per unit, so how much is the cost of good manufacturing per unit for 1,500 pieces? It will be like this. And for the 102 order to 20,000 pieces, this is the cost of per unit, the cost of good manufacturing manufactured per unit, as you can see here in the number. So if we see price chart for 1,500 pieces, each of them will be 3,000 rupiah, and we know the COGM like this, we can see here. And for this we can see that there are profit, right? If you can see, if we use this kind of a calculation, then we can get a profit, because from here we can also know, even from here we can also know, we sell them at 3,000 rupiah and we sell this one at 1,000 rupiah. So it should be, we should be making profit from this kind of a scenario, from this kind of, for this order. So are we actually making a profit then? Wait, what about the non-production costs? Okay, using this we can already calculate all of the COGM, but when we talk about profit, then it's a different matter. So in here, in the income statement form, as you can see here, after we receive a sales revenue subtracted by the discount and the sales return, we get the net sales revenue. We need to have the cost of goods sold first. And what is cost of goods sold? This is the formula to get the cost of goods sold. It is the cost of good manufacturer added by the initial inventory and then reduced by the finished good inventory. But because, remember again, because this is a job order costing, so we don't actually have this finished good inventory and also this initial inventory. So basically the cost of good manufacturing, cost of good manufacture is the same with the cost of a good sold. So basically we can directly know the gross profit. However, to know whether we are making profit or not, we need to also include the marketing and administration costs. This is the non-production cost, and we have those kind of thing. You remember in the information we have those marketing and also administrative costs, so we need to check them. So all of the non-production costs, it is from here. Remember, from here, administrative and marketing, the total is this number. We need to we need to add them first. So COGM 101, the total is like this, 102 is like this, the total, and non-production cost, this is the total. This is the number of job order costs that we have. And if we just use the selling price, the initial selling price for each of those order, then what we get is here. If we subtract them, we actually making loss instead of making a profit. So how much is the price that we actually need in here? Yeah, you can just determine the selling price. Then as you can see here, this is the total job order cost, and then we can add the expected profit that we want to make. Yeah, I just this example is just make so that the revenue will be a good number, 35 million rupiah. So this is something that the producer need to decide by themselves. And then if we divide the revenue from this here based on the same rate, based on the labor hours, yeah, for easy thing, we use the same one with the factory overhead cost. So we divide it like this. This is each of them. And so how much is the selling price needed for 1000 pieces then? Yeah, we need to just divide this with 1000 and sum them up, and we can get this number. Also with this one divided with 2000 pieces, and then we can get the sum of these things. So this is the number of selling price. So we sum them up like this. So I hope this explain to you on how to do job order costing. Okay, so what can we learn from here is that first, job costing is suitable for production based on order. Direct material and direct labor are much more feasible in terms of access to actual costs from material requisition form and labor time sheets, while factory overhead costs pose difficulties in determining actual costs. That's why we use only the estimate for the factory overhead costs, while we can use the actual one for the direct costs. Okay, due to the need for immediate access to job costs, many companies use predetermined or budgeted factory overhead rate to estimate factory overhead costs. Okay, this is the reference. I hope it helped you to understand job order costing. Thank you.